Hello, happy campers, or should I say happy gutters or go-getters? That sounds like that cartoon, isn't it? Go-getters. Anyway, Carly, get to the point. So we're on day 3, covering everything that you need to know about fibre and how a really diverse and colourful plate and food can really boost and support your gut health. As you watch these videos, you will start to see how it all works together, because I'm breaking it down a little bit where we're talking about bacteria yesterday, fibre today, stress tomorrow, and actually how they all work together. Not just one of these things is going to improve your gut health. It really is about them as a collective and using them and making them work together. Now, fibre is, I would say, one of the most important things when it comes to gut health, because yes, your good bacteria that we're going to get into that gut through your fermented foods or a probiotic, but the only way that they really thrive and become as diverse as they can is by the fibres that you feed them. And I know it sounds a bit weird when you say feed them, but that's how I picture it in my head, is that you have your good bacteria and they will eat all of that diverse fibre. That's how they break it down. And I sort of imagine it as eating. They eat all of that fibre and they convert that fibre into short chain fatty acids. With these short chain fatty acids is that they will help to give energy to your colon, to your cells in your colon. They also help to keep the colon barrier really strong, and that will help you to not develop something called leaky gut. And leaky gut is where you get food sensitivities, severe bloating, rashes, brain fog. What they can also do is they are an anti-inflammatory. So they help to fight inflammation within your body. If you're not feeding your gut that diverse fibre, you're not going to get the bacteria to thrive, to multiply, to become diverse. And what we want is loads of these short chain fatty acids in our body. We want them to be boosting our heart health, our brain health, really making our immune system really strong, making us be able to process our food better, digest our food better. So that's why fibre is so important. But, and there's only a small but, the but is we must respect fibre, because fibre is very hard to break down. And if there's some of you watching this who know that you react when you eat fibre, that's because you may have a sensitive gut. Now, how it works is that the way that your body digests food is, now I might have covered this in another video, so I do apologise if I am repeating myself, but the way that your body digests food is in your mouth is your carbs and your sugar by the saliva that comes through your cheeks here, so you can kind of feel the little grooves in your cheeks. You swallow it, goes into the stomach, and that's where protein and fats get digested by more enzymes. And then your fibre, which is known as your complex carbohydrate, is digested down in your large intestine by the gut microbiome. So that's why sometimes if you've had a really big raw food salad, or you've had loads of extra veggies or loads of raw food throughout the day, you can sometimes feel really bloated. That's because all of a sudden your gut microbiome has got so much stuff, should I say, so much fibre to break down. And when it's got to work like that, it creates excess gas, and that's what can make you feel really bloated. And especially if you have a sensitive gut. So if you know that you react easily to things, you bloat easily, then I would definitely suggest that you need to be very mindful of how you introduce fibre. And the way that you would do that is the low and slow method. And that's really actually the way that we want to be introducing everything to the gut, but fibre especially. And the low and slow method is, think about it as you building a tolerance to fibre, because you can be able to eat the 25 to 30 grams fibre a day that is recommended without reacting. It just takes time, and you must respect your gut, that if you aren't eating a lot of fibre now and you go from 0 to hero, from a little to a lot, that's going to cause you some digestive discomfort, and we really want to avoid that. So what I would recommend is that you would start by looking at your breakfast, and that's the only meal that you would focus on for the week or 2 weeks, depending on how sensitive you are. And you're just going to add in some extra bits of fibre in there. So you may sprinkle some seeds and nuts on, you may add an extra piece of fruit, you may add some cinnamon, and see how you feel. With nuts and seeds, if you are super sensitive, I would recommend that you actually cut those nuts up or grind them slightly so they're easier to break down in the body. Once you've done that, the week or 2 weeks after, you keep the breakfast how it is, you keep that fibre that you've added in, and we add into the lunch. So you may look at doing a small portion of lentils. Now, chickpeas and lentils and beans are easier to digest when they come in the can rather than the dry, so that's something that you might want to try. But you might want to do a pasta dish that you just have a couple of extra butter beans in, or you may look at sprinkling some chickpeas on top of a salad that you can bake and roast. You may want to make some hummus, or you could buy some hummus, add some hummus in, maybe do some cucumber, or look at adding an extra veggie into something that you're eating. So if you're someone who may be taking pasta into work, just add an extra bit of veggie into that pasta, and maybe then have a side of some hummus and some dip, or an extra piece of fruit for afterwards. Now, it's all about low and slow, and then getting used to it. The real fibrous foods are your foods like beans, chickpeas and lentils. Now, they have a high amount of fibre in, so those ones you definitely want to go slow if you are sensitive, but do not try and totally avoid them because they are so good. They have so many amazing things that the gut absolutely loves, but please slowly introduce them. I think I've said the word low and slow so many times, so I hope that kind of message is there. But what we're going to be looking at is, what is a diverse diet? What does that mean? And how can you incorporate that into your already existing foods? Now, in the hub of this message, in the hub of the email, you will see some ideas, some recipes, inspiration of how to make your food more diverse. But I'm going to show you a book really quickly. So this is one of my favourite books when it comes to fibre, and what this book will have is information on why we should be having a diverse diet, but also how you can slowly introduce it, or if you don't just slowly introduce it, just how you can add more fibre in. Now, the recommended amount of different types of fibre. So when I say different types of fibre, I am talking about, let me just show you, here it is. So if you can see on here, there's all different types of fibre on there. And when they say good gut health, they're referring to 30 different types of fibre a week. Now, I know that probably sounds crazy because you're thinking that sounds like a hell of a lot, but your fibre sources are your fruits, veggies, seeds and nuts, legumes family, which are your chickpeas, lentils and your beans, herbs and spices. So when you break it down and you actually look at your meals, it can be really realistic and doable. And even stuff like looking at it in a chart like this and just seeing all of this here and just thinking, right, okay, well, what I'm going to do, there's 5 bits of fruit here, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm having 5 different types of fruit throughout the week. You've got 10 veggies here, 10 different types of veggies throughout 7 days is so doable. Now, we have got a common habit of going into the supermarket and just picking up the exact same things every single day or every single time we shop. So I always say to people, go and have a look around the veggie store or the veggie section and the fruit section and pick up things you wouldn't normally have and incorporate them in, because that's going to give you that diversity that we're looking for. It's the diverse range of fibre that boosts that gut health, that really gives us that benefit, that supports and enhances the good bacteria that you've got in there. So we need to have this fibre in the diet. You know, you've also got on here, you've got whole grains. So your whole grains are things like you've got quinoa, you've got oats. So there are so many different types of fibre. It isn't just your fruits and your veggies that people think. And what people also think is that, right, I'm going to eat more fibre, I'm going to just have loads of spinach, or I'm going to have all bran. And that isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about colour, flavours, mixed seeds, mixed veg, making it like the rainbow, and that is the goodness that you get. Not only are you going to get loads of minerals and vitamins from those foods, because they're nutritionally dense foods, but you're going to get that benefit that the gut really needs. So another book that I'm going to link for you called Fibre Fueled, and that is by a gastro doctor, and it is again education but recipes, and I think that's really important. The one that you probably know about fibre is that they really help to bulk up your stools, so they will help you go to the toilet better. So if you are struggling with constipation, what fibre will do, making sure that you have both soluble and insoluble fibre, which you will do because you're having a diverse range of them, they will help to bring excess water to the bowel and just bulk up that waste matter. You need to make sure you're hydrated to get the full benefit, so then we can also have that waste matter be able to be flushed through or move through your large intestine as well. As we know, fibre promotes a very, very healthy gut microbiome, and when your gut microbiome is healthy, you have an enhanced immune system. So that's where I think for me the biggest thing is about not wanting to become ill, not wanting to be susceptible to disease. That's my driver, that's my why, is making sure that the foods I'm eating are keeping me as healthy and as strong and resilient against disease and illness, and that's where fibre is so, so important. My top tip to finish off this video is always start with adding in rather than totally changing, because changing is really difficult. It's all about habit, and the habit is to do what we know, because the subconscious will always go back and do what it's been learnt to do for years. So changing can sometimes feel really hard. So think about as, right, what am I already eating? Can I add in extra colour and extra types of veggies? Now again, that does not mean that you have to have big portions of all these veggies. Obviously it's great if you do, if you can handle that, but look at maybe having, if you've got broccoli, have a bit of broccoli, a few peas, and maybe some green beans, or broccoli, some kale and some mushrooms, and think about it in that way. So one piece of fibre, let's turn that into 3 different types, and that is where we're going to start to get that benefit. Always remember, low and slow is the way to go. And if it feels really overwhelming when it comes to knowing what to do with fibre, I would just highly recommend looking at getting one of those books that I've mentioned. They will just guide you, and they will give you the tools and the knowledge that you need. Hopefully you would have got lots of that from this video as well, but if you need more, that's where I would say to go. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know. And I will see you tomorrow for my favourite subject, which is stress and the gut. Mwah! Have a fantastic day, and I'll speak to you soon.